Now, you do many things with the British Monarchist Society, and one of the things that you've done, and this is very interesting and very praiseworthy, is you have put together a couple of pieces of music. Now, we'll give people the where to acquire it, but first, can you just tell us what this is all about and what is it that you've done here?
This is, I always want to always educate. And the way I thought we could do that and set ourselves apart when I found out that the BBC wasn't doing an anthem this year, such as they did in 2012 with Gary Barlow, I said, let's jump on that. So literally a year and a half ago, I said, right, let me get people together. We're going to write an anthem. But I have a dilemma, Alistair. How do I put 70 years of a reign in 96 years of a life into 4.5 minutes of song? So if I'm going to do an anthem that needs to have all the pomp and pageantry and circumnavigate the world of where Her Majesty has touched and set foot in actually as queen to 15 countries, but also go internally, how do I represent Scotland and Wales, Northern Ireland and England? How do I represent this kingdom? So I said, right, if Taylor Swift can put out an 11.5-minute song, why can't I? But we didn't make it continuous. We broke it down. So I literally went to some of our patrons, Dr. Olga Thomas, who is the resident composer at Cruise Bereavement Care, of which Her Majesty is patron. But also she's the private composer to Her Majesty and the royal family. And she's a friend of mine and also a patron of the BMS. And I said, Dr. Thomas, I said, I want to do this. Help me. And she goes, right. And she has a fantastic ability to just hear things in her mind and create it. So she would phone me at 1 and 2 in the morning and say, I've had a thought, and here I am, literally head on my pillow, bang, bang, bang on the keyboard. And I'm like, that sounds great. It sounds great. And then I would think about it and I'd let it set in and I'd phone her back 20 minutes later. I say, right. So that's symbolic of a slow march. If we look at the Scots Guard, I can see them coming down the mall to this and all of that. And I said, right, but you want to deal with just instrumental. I want to hark back to the coronation. I want exaltations. I want Vivat Regina, all of these things. So I said, right, let me go to Leslie Garrett, CBE, who is the UK's most well-known soprano. She had her own BBC show for years. And I said, right, let me talk to some other people and let's go after Rodney Earl Clark, who is starring right now in Les Mis on the West End. And he was the first Black British opera singer to actually sing God Save the Queen, the national anthem at Twickenham. Fantastic. Right. And then I said, how do we make this even better? Well, let's go to the London Community Gospel Choir, who is just absolutely renowned internationally all over the world, and they're currently performing on Britain's Got Talent. So we all went to the studio with this piece. And what came out, just the power of this song, it's Elgar-esque, it brings you right back to the coronation, but in a modern way. And you can see all of the vistas of the palace, the abbey, the guards, everything. And that's what we wanted. Fantastic. But then I said, we need to do something else because we are circumnavigating the United Kingdom, but we can't leave out the realms. We can't leave out the 54 nations of the Commonwealth. We've got to do something. So I said to one of my really good friends, who is a well-known opera singer and producer in South Africa, who was living here at the time. This was all during lockdown, mind you. So our Zoom calls were just hours and hours and hours. And thank God Zoom had suspended that 40-minute time frame that we had. And Anton Vandermeer, just a fantastic talent. I sat with him for days and days, literally tens of man hours, going through all the notes. How do I do 70 years of this reign? How do I do 96 years of life? I want to take the imagery. I want to show the Queen's unblemished face, her maturing face. I want to talk about duty. I want to talk about everything that she has done. And we talk about the Union. And we feature Scotland. And it's so important because we all know she's woken every day by a bagpiper. What is more iconic than bagpipes? So, of course, we have bagpipes that introduce the Scotland section. We've got the Irish flute for Northern Ireland, you know, all of these things. But this is a circumnavigation musically around the world, and it touches everyone who is a subject of Her Majesty. But I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's not people who are just a subject of Her Majesty. She is the world's queen, Alistair. There's other Queen regnants, but when you say the Queen to anyone in the world,
Absolutely.
they can point to Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom and say, the Queen. They
Yes.
all know who
Yes.
we're talking about. So what we created were two fantastic tracks that are going to rival anything that we've put out. And when you look at when we debuted on the Queen's birthday, at number 1 and number 2 on the iTunes classical chart,
Oh,
and number
fantastic.
27 on the iTunes top 100, it was just fantastic. We had actually, in fine style, on the eve of Her Majesty's birthday, had a live performance of this with Leslie and Rodney at the Rubens Hotel, and we had all of our MPs and lords there. Baroness Hooper was there. We had some other members, private members of the royal family were there, members of the royal household, high commissioners of Her Majesty's realms. And Alistair, giving this gift to Her Majesty, it's not just for the Jubilee, it is a thank you. And that second song is called Your Majesty, We Thank You from Our Hearts. And this is heartfelt. It is the thought and everything that's gone into the verses to say, this isn't just for your Jubilee. This is celebrating you as 70 years of Queen of this nation. And God forbid, when she is no longer with us, this song will still be just as prevalent because it's a reflection on her life.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I've listened to both pieces of music, and I can certainly recommend them as very stirring. And there you are. Hold up that CD again. And while you're holding it up, I'll just say you can download that from iTunes, or you can purchase the CD, or you can purchase a luxury edition of the CD, which I believe is signed by Leslie Garrett and so on.
It's signed by all the artists.
Yes, good. And you can do that at the Jubilee Anthem 2022.com. That's the Jubilee Anthem 2022.com. It has links to the iTunes, to other streaming platforms, and to buy that CD, or to buy the signed copies of
there's
the CD.
2 CDs. There's the luxury limited edition, which is all signed, and then you have just the unlimited print run, which is the one I had held up.
Right.
There aren't many left of the limited edition, but
Right.
if they get the limited edition, the Queen got number 1, Prince Charles got one, and the Duchess of Cornwall got one as well.
Quite right,
so
quite right.
yeah, there was only 67 by the time we were done giving them to the principal people in the crown. So yes,
great, well done, Thomas.
Thank you.
We've come to the conclusion of this interview. There, I just want to say well done for all that work that you've put in, especially for that music, but also for the educational work that the British Monarchist Society does. And here on your website is the monarchists.com, and you're also on Facebook and also on Twitter at the Monarchists,
and Instagram
as well,
Instagram.
and under the Monarchists.
Yes.
So that's a really good organisation that's dedicated to promoting the British monarchy, not only here in the United Kingdom, but also worldwide. So we must have you on again, Thomas.
I'd love to come back. This is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good, and you've got a good setup there, and
Thank you.
It's absolutely perfect broadcasting tonight for us. Sorry about the wee hitch there at the start. That was my bad. So I'll say good night.
I repel technology, so it was probably my fault.
Yeah, I know. I think we all do, but we have to sort of deal with it. Okay, well, I'll say good night to you, and
Lovely.
God bless, and God save the Queen.
You as well, Alistair. Thank you very much, and strong to the Union.
Absolutely.